Hey everyone, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here, and
Collin.
hey Collin, and we're ready to bring you ready to bring you Bad Batch Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8.
Yeah.
The Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. This was great.
Oh, yeah. 2 great episodes. I'm glad they're doing this format. I kind of like it. How they just do 2 episodes that kind of need to go together.
Yeah.
Give us some, filler episodes, and then advance the different storylines, and then give us 2 more episodes that advance that bigger plot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. I'm digging it.
I agree. Both of these episodes were really great.
It was wild. They were really good.
So, without further ado, let's just jump into Episode 7, The Clone Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
We open up on, the Empire capital.
Oh, so
Coruscant.
beautiful. Such a beautiful shot at this beginning scene.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's like the cityscape at night.
Yeah.
And then you, kind of drop down above. It's like a little seedier. They're at this bar. And you see these 2 clones just talking. And,
Slip and Cade.
Cade and Slip. Slip and Cade. And Slip's got a big issue.
Yeah.
He sees that this is all Rampart's doing, and Camino was not okay. Was not just it wasn't an accident.
It was Cade.
Yeah.
It was Cade.
Yeah, Cade.
Cade.
Yeah.
Cade, but Cade also has this guilt. That's building up in him.
Yep.
And about Camino and everything, being a part of it, and turning on his brothers and everything, and doing all that. And this is the first time, basically since since Rampart was like, oh, by the way, you saw this crew? No, you didn't, and killed somebody. That we get another reference now of Rampart's seediness and
exactly.
and how he's going to really the beat of his own drum in a lot of ways. But that it was Rampart who made the attack on Camino, and Cade is feeling really guilty about the cover up and everything, and so he sent a message to Rampart, and I was like, I heard this, I was like, bro, why are you reaching out to the Empire, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you doing this thing?
Yeah.
Good things don't come from the Empire.
Well, yeah, they're expecting the, they're expecting the system they work under to work for them.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Except when the system just sees you as, a tool for their own, be discarded when you're no longer useful.
Yeah. Rampart especially.
Yeah. It's difficult. And
but he is just trying to make his way up in the Empire, and that just shows how bad the Empire is. Because,
right.
Yeah, he's definitely doing lone wolf type things, but he knows that's because that's how you really get ahead in the Empire.
Yeah.
That's really because
he's playing the long game.
Yeah.
He rolled some die. We don't know how
we that.
We don't know how he's rolled just yet. But so he sent a message to Rampart. Slip and Cade leave the bar. And this bar is actually really cool. It's really cool.
Again, it's got that cool neon lights. It's really it's dope scene.
Yeah, it's a great little bar there. But they leave, and Slip's I don't know if that was a good idea. Trying to pull Cade back, being Slip.
Cade's off the deep end more. Slip knows that it's they need to play this a bit more close to the chest. I think at this point, but I think it's
and
too
not
late.
Just go walking.
I think
out.
It's been too late because Cade already sent the message.
Yeah, Cade already sent the message, and Cade gets shot.
Yep.
From a sniper, that we don't see as they're by
no,
their
we just
parked
see
by.
we see crosshairs, a literal crosshairs on the screen, and then we see Cade get shot, and you don't know, you see that you kind of just see a flash run away, and that's it. And Slip tries to pull his gun out, and his gun gets shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slip tries to pull his gun.
So he gets
that shot, but he ends up taking Cade's gun and still shooting and escaping on his little bike or whatever that he finds there.
So Slip's on the loose. Cade's down, and we have a random lone gunman.
Yeah, a random lone assassin.
Who, I'm gonna be honest, I'm at this point thinking it's Crosshair.
I thought it was Crosshair too.
So like, yeah, we'll get into it, but yeah, I think it's Crosshair at this point.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, you're good. I absolutely thought it was Crosshair. There's no question that I thought it was Crosshair. But then we get a couple of the clones coming out. They're all looking around, and then we cut to the Senate meeting, basically. The Senate...
Classic Senate meeting.
Yeah. Classic bureaucratic bull that you're just like, oh, this is sometimes where... You know what? This is probably one of the first ones in a long time that I was like, hey, I'm actually pretty engaged in it.
Yeah, this Senate meeting was like not
the Senate
like a
meeting
normal one.
actually worked.
Because I was interested in the subject because clones have always been something I'm interested in as just an entity in the Star Wars universe. Because I just think that's crazy. Like, what if we did that in real life, and what would we do with these clones? Because they're human beings now. They're not just clones, but we see that play out in this episode through dialogue. But how else are you going to show? You can't just always show things through action.
Right, and all of this is great. You know,
Dave Filoni really knew how to do a Senate scene. It shows.
Well, because like
he knows how to write dialogue.
Yeah, he knows.
Shots fired. Anyway,
but so they got, I don't know, the Senate meeting's going over that Kamino's gone. They don't have any more clones, but they still need an army and a way to protect themselves.
Right. And at the Senate floor, it's still under the assumption that Kamino's it was a natural disaster.
Yeah, it was a huge natural tropical storm that hit them and took everything out. Rampart's defense recruitment bill is on the table.
Which will bring in an
army.
The stormtrooper will be the Imperial Army now instead of clone troopers.
Yes.
So this is that switch that we've been wondering about.
Well, and then the big thing about the recruitment bill, though, that they are doing is that they are pulling people from the galaxy. Like each galaxy, each member of the Senate is like giving people, or will be like putting up people, or however you want to look at it, to be able to do this, because then it becomes an army of the people for the people.
Yeah.
Is their kind of idea.
Yeah, their idea, I think, is just like, we're going to have people on each planet, and, you know, everyone's going to have a piece, so they're going to feel more compelled to work with us. Even if they're not working alongside of us with everything, they're going to definitely be easier to sway.
Yeah.
When we need it.
And so we get the introduction of... we get, God, I can't think of the senator's name, but she's like, we've tabled
Chachi?
this. No, not her yet.
Okay, yes, I know you're talking about. She's another senator.
Senator who's like, we've had this conversation before. Yeah. We're gonna table it because we've got more pressing matters, as we've always had to do, and Senator. Then this is where we get the introduction of Senator Chuchi.
Yeah.
Who I swear at first, when I first heard her speak, I was like, Omega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I was like, Omega?
Mm-hmm.
It sounded just like... It sounded very similar to her, but not her. But but Senator Chuchi is great.
Yeah.
Great senator, working for clones, working for clone rights and everything. And is like, hey, that's great about this, like, army and recruitment bill, but what about the retirees that we have?
Right, these are the veterans.
Of the veterans, of the people that have been fighting for us for so long. We can't just do nothing with them or for them. Like we've got to get like.
She literally says they're not droids, you know, like they can't just be decommissioned.
Well, because the lady from the banking nation is like we're just discarding them.
The banking clan is basically their you know, the Illuminati, basically. You know what I mean? They're just working to make money and please the emperor.
Save that bottom line.
Yeah, please the emperor.
And you know, like even my notes as I'm looking through it, the thing. Banking senator seems clones as droids. Whoa, pretty messed up.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, of course they do, though. They see bottom line, they see money, they see percentages, they don't see people.
And then because it's also like at that point, like the way the banking clan is seeing it is that there's literally they are not getting anything from the clones. The clones are literally just a drain on them.
They're gonna
wild.
So what would you do? You need to set up.
You got to set up that pension plan. You got
pension fund, baby.
You got to do something. Got to get a 401k, some retirement plans. You got to do something. Yeah. Yes, you got to do something for these clone troopers.
For sure. They messed up, but in the public's eyes right now, they're heroes.
Yeah. So
and we know that they killed the Jedi, and that wasn't a good thing. the public doesn't. For the most part, the public thinks that they're, so you got it, and they think they didn't do wrong. Now they're starting to question everything because of
and that's really what we've seen.
Roads were going down.
That's really what we've seen through all of like the Bad Batch and definitely all of season 2 is that a lot of the clones that they had met and everything that like Cody and stuff, like Cody was like one of the last like holdouts we saw of like still with the Empire. Like that was the last time we saw Crosshairs too. And it's just wild. But the one thing that we also got to get from the Senate meeting is that they table Rampart's bill so that he can add provisions for the current clones into it. And then Chuchi says, I will go to the clones. I will be their representative as like the baking
which
clan.
Is awesome.
The banking lady was like, oh, you speak for the clones now?
Exactly.
And you're just like, what?
Can you be more evil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She even looks like a little lizard.
It's funny. They just don't.
But
they don't care about the clones, and she does, and she's no better representative, basically, to have.
Absolutely. You got somebody who actually like cares and gives a damn, so you want them on your side. So we see Chuchi going to the, Senator Chuchi going to the Clone Trooper bar.
Right.
And, she is pleading her case, being like, I'm actually on your guys' side. I want to help you guys. I want to work with you guys. Please, tell me what you need. Tell me what you want. And the one guy, like, she's like, do you need a pension plan? Like, what do you need? And the one clone is like, I need to be out there fighting, like, what I was trained to do my whole life. And she was like, well, you're after so many tours or cycles or whatever. They don't call it tours though. They call it like,
whatever. Yeah.
They
basically.
So basically a tour. So after so many, then you're put into as again, it's called decommission, which is also like just bonkers that that's what it is. Like these are.
Well, I can understand you're decommissioned from the military, but the connotations that go along with being
Army,
decommissioned.
In the military, you're discharged.
Right. But I mean, just words can be whatever sometimes. But it's rough.
Well, but it goes back to the droid thing of like what what the banking clan was saying is that everyone doesn't see like clones as like humans or people or
they're a new problem to
or
deal
whatever.
with for a lot of people. Now we have this leftover problem. And it's funny because in Boba Fett we saw, a clone trooper sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Homeless.
Yeah.
Like, so clearly.
Yeah. And like, oh man. But Chuchi's like, I will do what I can for you guys.
Or wait, that was Obi-Wan. Sorry.
That was Obi-Wan. That was an Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan would be in this a little past this time.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. You remember that scene?
No. But then like, so like, I mean, never mind.
Yeah.
We're jumping too far ahead, but we gotta come back to that. Obi-Wan Trooper. Gotta come back to that at the end of episode 8.
Yeah. I didn't want let me repeat that.
What?
Because I said Boba Fett.
Yeah, no. Obi-Wan in Obi-Wan, Collin, 100%. In Obi-Wan, we see a stormtrooper, which is the reason why we bring it up is because Obi-Wan is set just a little bit probably after the Bad Batch,
right?
Maybe even parallel in some degree, but. Yeah. What they're talking about here is like the clone troopers and trying to have them being taken care of. We see them still not being taken care of in this time in another series, and it matters. Right. It matters that they show it and whatnot. And I really feel Obi-Wan is like a little bit after Bad Batch.
Yeah, but like not much. It wouldn't be much. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was trying to think that too, and I'm like, no.
But parallel might be the better way of showing it. And maybe,
there'd be years difference maybe, but not crazy.
But either way, so it's still wild that we see that. We see that in the live action and everything. But here, we get Chuchi. Finally, most of the clones are leaving that bar. It seems to be evening or whatever, time. But it's still kind of light out, so like I didn't know if it was like really closing time or morning time. And either way, time of day doesn't matter. Most of the clones are leaving the bar. Chuchi is still there saying, like, thank you for trusting me to, like, try and help you guys. And then we have Slip, like, wearing his hat off in, like, the
really.
off in the shadows, like, hey, Chuchi, come here.
Yeah.
And it's like the shadiest thing in the world. And, so Chuchi is out there doing that, trying to get, Slip's trying to get Chuchi's attention. And it's like, hey, I was there on the attack of Kamino. I was on the ship. I was a part of Rampart's, like, team and everything, and, you know, like, Rampart ordered that attack.
Yeah.
Like,
what happened wasn't a natural disaster. It was a deliberate plan, and I was part of it. And this is when she finds out, Senator Chuchi finds out that Kamino was taken down by the...
was an inside job, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Slip also says, you know, any other clone that, like, ever spoke up was either reassigned, went missing, or found dead.
Yeah.
So, like, Rampart has really been trying to, you know, clean up any and all of his trails. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's wild. We see then, like, Tucci... we see Tucci leave... CT-0409 is like what he leaves himself as, you know, Slip. And Slip calls for help.
Yeah.
Like, we just see him on a little, like, comm or whatever, like the same handheld comm that we see, like, Luke in the trash container on, basically, a little handheld one. Like, hey, I need help. I need to get out of here. Then we kind of jump a little bit after this. Like, we jump to this. Then we jump to Rampart and Chuchi talking about, like, the clone benefits and everything.
Right.
And that's just, like, a very condescending conversation from,
of course.
from, like,
Rampart's
Rampart.
nothing but,
like,
he's a patronizing man that can't stop.
Yeah.
He won't stop.
The chess match that they were doing, like, he's so condescending, but really the chess match...
Yeah, Chuchi is awesome. She's gonna hold it down. Yeah.
It was great. I loved seeing it. And then Chuchi gets the little, like, hey, you've got a secure message to go, like, you got a secure call or something, message or whatever. So let's go, like, do that. Let's go handle that. And so then she goes to meet in an alleyway. And let me tell you, gotta say something here.
Don't meet in an alleyway.
Yeah, they do. They meet in...
Yeah, but I'm saying don't meet in
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, the amount of times that Star Wars puts our main characters in, like, these animated shows in,
Senator
like...
Bernie Sanders, we're going to take you to this alley for an important meeting. Like, no.
I'm sorry, but you know what?
Even if
like,
it's secret...
My fear of alleyways started with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
In the Waynes.
Right.
So don't go to meet in alleyways. Just
There's
don't
garbage
do it.
in there. Why do we need to go to an alley?
It's dirty. You don't want to do that. But...
Anyway, they're in an alley.
They go meet up in an alley, and who does she meet up with?
She meets up with Slip. Is it the point where she meets up with, like, Rex and them?
She meets up with Organa.
Oh, Senator Organa. Yeah, this is right. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm jumping all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah.
She meets up with Senator Organa, and this is really great because, like, Organa's like, hey, I've got I got a woman, a girl I think you would like to meet.
Right. This is where they concoct the
Who is
plan. Yeah.
Who is it? I
Right.
think I know.
Yeah. Right. So they need evidence.
Right. But this is where they concoct the plan of, like, hey, we need physical evidence. We need proof that Rampart did this. Is there anything that we have, anything or whatever of it? And in the conversation that Chuchi had with Slip, he tells her that, like, hey, I made a copy of it. You know, like there's a copy of the command log that would show the video of this. Like it's saved in there. And we just need to get it, basically. Now we actually kind of jumped ahead a little bit because
we'll get to that.
After it's actually, they say they need to get it, the information with Organa. Then when she actually meets up with Slip, that's where he tells.
That's why I was saying, these two scenes kind of melded for me. So next she meets back up with Slip because she needs evidence now. Because Organa kind of was clear, but let's come up with a plan. Like, we can't just bring this to the Senate floor and throw accusations around.
Because she can't just bring it to the Senate floor as well, because we know Rampart, in between the Chuchi Organa meeting and the Chuchi Slip meeting again. We get Rampart being like, "Hey, assassin,
Yep.
go kill Slip, go kill the senator if she happens to be there and in the way as well." And it's just like, wow, Rampart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that was when we find out Rampart has been ordering these hits. Of course he was.
Of course he's been trying to cover up his tail and everything.
This guy we both think is Crosshair still at this point.
Yeah.
Is coming for him.
Right, and just keeps on going, and we know that Crosshairs and Rampart have
definitely have a relationship.
Yeah, a good relationship. They like to work together or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know about but they do.
But they do work together. That's fair.
Yeah.
And so Slip and Chuchi are together. We already talked about the command log and getting there.
Chuchi gets him to testify. That's what he's gonna do.
That's what Chuchi wants him to do. Wants him to testify, and he says, he puts up a really big fight and is like, no, I'm trying to get out of here and stuff. I called for help. She's like, but if you testify and we get this evidence, it's the 1-2 combo that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And what he does do though is say, he still turns it down, but he's like, go talk to the Camino senator.
Yeah.
Is what is the last thing that Slip does is because part of what Organa said was follow the money.
Yeah.
Part of that conversation was, follow the money, see what happened. Funds were diverted. The only person I know of that you can talk to is that Camino thing. And Slip said this, virtually the same thing to her. And but Slip's killed.
Yep.
He gets caught up by the assassin. The assassin that Rampart sends out after him gets him.
Also tries to kill everyone else, And
it kills Slip, kills one of Chuchi's guards, and then injures the other, or actually ends up killing the other guard, but injuring one of the guards at first. And dude, what about the reveal?
Yeah, when my boy comes and saves the day, because it looked like Slip was about to be trapped. I mean, sorry, not Slip, Chuchi.
Mm-hmm.
Was about to be trapped, and Rex comes out and
you hear the blue, and I was like, oh!
he gets the assassin down with non-lethal force, which was pretty cool. It was just still pretty cool, that Rex is still showing this much restraint for someone who's about to kill a child. That's wild.
Yeah.
But I think that's honorable. I think that's the most honorable thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
So he took him down, and they reveal the guy's face. And what do you think about that?
Dude, it was a clone.
Yeah, it was, but it was different. I can't really explain it, but it seemed different.
So I think for me, each time I watch this episode, once for the enjoyment and then the other 1.5 times for the notes and stuff, I really just thought he looked like another clone. But I get the idea that it's Rex is but there's something different.
No, see, that's what I mean. Yeah. He seemed different. I'm not even saying look-wise. Of course he looked like a clone of them, but he looked younger. Because they age fast.
Yeah.
So he looked like a newer clone.
True, which doesn't necessarily make sense about the Camino stuff that we saw.
Right. Well, and we already know that Camino stays operational secretly.
Yeah.
Or at least the operations from Camino.
Yeah, some cloning stuff is still
Anyway,
around.
so I thought that was interesting, and they try to get some answers out of him, but what does my man do?
He bites an electric cyanide pill.
Yeah, it's some crazy pill that he bites down on, and he shocks himself, and it was wild. It was insane.
It was insane seeing that, dude.
Yeah.
I was never expecting it.
No, man. This is the cartoon. It was good, though. It was really cool.
Super cool. Really liked it. And then this is basically the end of episode 7.
Yeah, it was but it was a really good episode. A lot happened. We met new clones that eventually get killed, but you still cared about them again.
Yeah.
You care about these new clones and these new characters that come in and go, proving that they do have identities of their own, and it was really cool to see.
Before we take a quick break, I loved this episode because this was the start of something that I had actually been really wanting.
Mm-hmm.
This is an episode that really does not feature the Bad Batch.
No.
At all. And that's one of the coolest things about the show is that not every episode always
actually has them.
has to have them in
No.
there, and it's still a compelling episode, and
Right.
it's still awesome. And that might have been like one of the coolest things about
I think
this
that
episode.
may have been different if they only released one episode though on that night.
Yeah.
Right, we might not have been so.
Well,
then we'd
that-
have been like, "Where's the Bad Batch?" But it makes sense.
Giving us
Giving
two,
us the-
giving the
yeah.
2 episodes because they're paired so
Yeah.
so tightly together.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be right back. All right, and we're back for episode 8. Yeah.
Yeah, really good one.
Truth and Consequences.
Ties right in.
And yeah, absolutely. So the connection between these is like, again, we're getting more of the clone story, and I just love it, man.
Yeah, the first up so episode 7, we learned more about what's just going on with clones in general in the galaxy,
Yep.
and we got to meet some new characters who we immediately run into in the second episode, almost immediately.
To be fair,
There's
the
a scene before.
episode 8 does open with the Bad Batch on the Marauder.
Bad Batch is back, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so it's fun to see them and Omega.
Meditating like a Jedi, like doing what Gungi taught her.
Yeah,
And-
because Omega's backstory and what's going on with her is still so up in the air. It's only season 2. I don't know how many seasons they're signed up for or even have an idea for, or Filoni's willing to do. But yeah, I'm excited to learn about her.
It's also interesting because like Echo shows up and is talking with her, and Echo's like, yeah, like they start talking about what they want to do, what their purposes are, and like who's needed where and stuff. And Echo's like, and because Omega's like, it kind of asked like, why'd you end up like coming with us? And he was like, well, this is where I was needed. Like,
Which is very much. All this is foreshadowing for
Yeah.
later stuff. It's a great opening scene.
Yeah.
It's like as good of an opening scene as you could have because it just it foreshadows things. It sets things up beautifully about where they've been, what they're doing.
Yeah, and then we also get Rex calling.
Yeah,
and,
cool scene. He transmission from Rex. They receive.
I love seeing Rex.
He's up on the hologram.
Yeah, and so Rex shows up and he's calling for some help.
Yeah.
And they have no jobs from Sid, which is interesting. And I'm gonna be
Hunter's kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, sweet, something we can actually do that's not like morally.
Dude, Wrecker is ready to jump.
Well, he's
through
he
the
doesn't
hologram.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He's
what,
ready to jump through the hologram.
They're all ready for a mission, but like,
Yeah.
this is the most I've seen Hunter want to do a mission
Yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not there's the stakes aren't just money. Or it's not money at all.
Right.
In fact,
And it's the idea of
a
like,
larger idea in general.
but they're like brethren now, and like they're all on the same side and like fighting for the same cause and stuff.
They
so
are
it's like,
clones still.
yeah, they are clones. So this is great.
Yeah.
Rex gets them a safe flight plan and all that stuff, and then they show up to the wonderful Coruscant.
Yeah.
We also get the Bad Batch meeting Senator Tucci.
Yeah.
Once they arrive.
Tucci shows up with and they meet Omega, and her and Omega meet. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like you said, their voices are very similar.
Well, the best I think is like when they're like meeting everybody and stuff, and Omega just kind of pops out and it's like, "Hello."
Yeah, real cute. Real cute.
And then they talk about the assassin that they had just found,
Right.
and because
and something we I think maybe forgot to mention in the last thing is that was his name the clone that died
Slip?
Slip mentioned that he had something on the back of something, right? To the evidence
yeah, so
in the back of his ship.
no,
that he made.
he saved a copy
Saved
of
a
it,
copy of it, yeah.
to the command log.
But he let them know that it was in the back of his ship.
Yeah, that you can get it from the Rampart ship.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
From Rampart ship.
Yeah. So,
well,
but then yeah. So we're gonna lead into that.
Right, and because this is where like also Rex brings up the Bad Batch and Omega, on the clone number being wiped, on like even text like, hey, wait a second, like I'm pretty good at stuff, but like I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah.
And like a clone targeting a clone. They had that conversation.
Exactly. That's why it's something's different, right? Something different is here with this clone.
Right. I agree.
I don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is, why they're getting the clones, why they're trying to be silenced, why they're lying about, well, we know why they're lying about Kamino being lost in the storm, because that's all like Rampart and everything. And the senator, is like, well, even offers like, why don't you guys like talk about it, and like, why don't you guys like raise your voice if you guys were all there and stuff. And I think it's Echo who's like, nobody's gonna listen to us. We're considered deserters and everything. Like nobody's gonna care.
Like
about
we
what
have
we
skin
have
in
to
the
say.
game, of course, but according to what happened, we were the bad guys.
Yeah, we were the bad guys. But you can't talk to deserters. But get that command log. Slip made the copy, and we're off. Omega offers to stay with Senator Tucci to keep her like safe and follow her around, and that makes a lot of sense.
I like this because it's a chance for Omega to learn society.
Yeah,
like what goes on in society, and hang out with a kid her age.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
So yeah, it's really great. I really like her seeing hanging out. No problem. Really like her seeing Senator Tucci. And I like that the Bad Batch then, like, we get their, like, espionage, like, mission thing of, like, we got to break into the ship and we got to go find everything. To be fair, for the next, like, good chunk of this episode, we're just hanging out with Omega and the Senator.
Yeah.
Like, we really don't see much of, the rest of the Bad Batch on their mission just yet. But we do get Omega asking Senator Tucci, what do senators do?
Yeah, which is a funny question. Yeah.
I mean, and the senator gives, well, we're the voice, we serve the galaxy, we're a voice of the people. And Omega's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, Omega's asking the hard-hitting questions here.
Because children usually do. Yeah, and
it's so good.
Senator Tucci's lived one life, Omega's lived another, and Omega's just coming at it childlike, and I love it.
Yeah. They
as basic of a question as you could ask.
Right? And so, like, that's just great. I just love that back and forth between them. But as they continue on their, like, walk and talk here, Rampart shows up. Yeah. And, like, Chuchi's like, hey, surprised to see me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Like, hi.
Hey,
it's so funny.
He's a big jerk.
He just tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And we got him.
Right.
Well,
they don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. But they suspect.
They assume.
Yeah.
They assume, but they don't have the.
But yeah, Rampart was surprised to see her.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, that was great. And he's like, oh no, I'm just prepping for the vote and everything. Mm-hmm. And Chuchi's like, I look forward to it because I am going to burn you. Right. She doesn't say that, but she gives that look with her eyes. It's awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, Rampart is, so the guy in the blue who's like the voice of the Emperor that we saw in the first episode, like he just kind of stands there, and he was talking with Rampart at one part and being like, hey, like you've got to be able to control the vote and everything, and like I thought you had the like what General Tarkin said, like you could handle all this, like Admiral, and like so this blue guy who I'm gonna just call the voice of the Emperor, because he talks when the Emperor's not there.
Yeah, he speaks for the Emperor basically.
So like we'll call him the mouth of the Emperor.
Right. I didn't catch a name either.
Right, and he's talking with Rampart here after Chuchi and Omega walk by, and like it's like, can you handle this? Is this vote, because it's not going to be good for you if this vote does not go through tomorrow. Right. And Rampart's like, I've got it taken care of. There's nothing she can do. Any of her provisions will show up well after. Will come do well.
He thinks he's got
anything.
this covered. He thinks he even has like the Kamino thing like covered a little bit. He thinks he can redirect that that line of questioning and blah blah blah. He's confident still.
Right. Omega and Chuchi enter the Senate House of Pods, And this is great, you know, like, again, Omega asking the great questions. You know, Senator's like, all of these pods represent, like, all of the different galaxies.
Every
and like,
single one
and like all
represents
the
a different
all the different galaxies, all the different planets, all of the different peoples. And Omega's like, oh, where's the clone one? Oh, well, there is no clone one. Why? Well, a lot of people see the clones as military assets. And just think about that crazy little bug-eyed banking person from episode 7.
Yeah, and it's true though, because like they're not from a planet. They're not. They weren't born from parents, so like of course they wouldn't have representation. It's a very like sad fact, and they should have representation.
Right? I mean,
for
all intents and purposes, I guess if you wanted to call the clone home, you could call it Camino. Because that's where all up until like obviously what we just saw in like what's talking about in episode 7, what they're talking about here,
and they're not helping.
Yeah, but really. I mean, Camino for all intents and purposes is destroyed now, so all that stuff is like gone and destroyed, as we know. But yeah, like so, I would have always called Camino the home planet of the clones, but you know, so they were always just seen as military assets. Then we get Organa's R2 unit, and I remember in episode 7 when you first see the R2 unit, I was like, oh, R2D2. Oh, that's not R2.
It's an R2 though.
It's an R2, but it's an R2, but it's not an R2.
Yeah.
I would love an R2 unit. I think they would make my life a lot easier. Any kind of R2 unit.
Oh yeah.
Any kind of working R2 unit. I don't need one like that.
Keep your C-3PO.
Protocol droid.
I'll definitely keep a. I'll take that scream all day.
Absolutely hilarious. But the R2 unit is delivering a message from Organa, and Organa and Chuchi meet, and in this meeting we get Chuchi explaining about everything she learned, everything to Organa about what she learned about the assassin, and you know
their plan to get
and having associates to procure the evidence.
There was some gangster stuff happening there.
Yeah,
like, nah, just associates.
Just associates. Don't worry about it. because
they're my guys.
Because Organa's
my guys get stuff done.
Because Organa's response is like, "You confident in these people?" And they're just like, "They're my guys.
They're my guys.
They're my associates. It's fine. It's fine."
Yeah.
You don't know them,
and yeah, of course you can trust the bad batch.
Yeah, of course you can always trust the bad batch to get it done. Then they also say that they gotta, you know, they talk to Hal Bertino. They talk to her. She's the senator and everything of Camino. She was part of the finance department, or the defense finance department. She knew where all the money was. This is also where we get Organa saying again, follow the money, you'll get your answer.
There was redirecting of funds from then we didn't find exactly.
Yeah, we find out that's why there was redirection of funds, and like it was going on for a long time, but there was no Senate approval. So why was it happening?
Right.
Is Chuchi's
type of stuff actually happens?
Yeah,
all the time.
right. Things like this happen all the time.
Yeah.
But then we jump to the Bertoni and Chuchi meeting, which is also a great meeting, because Bertoni's like, why would you bring me here? Like, she knows what's up from like the second she gets in there.
Right.
Like,
she knows from the jump. Yeah.
She knows from the jump why she's there. Like, why Chuchi wants to talk with her. Like, Chuchi's like, I have a matter to discuss with you, and she's like, why would you bring me here? What are you doing, little girl? Is like really the vibe you get from Bertoni. She's like, what about? And like Chuchi just kind of goes into it. It's like, what about the missing funds? What about the clone facilities? The clone facility funds are gone. Like, all of this stuff gets diverted and moved around, and like you had to have known. And Bertoni's like, of course I knew. Like, of course I knew. Like, you're a fool to bring me here.
Right.
And she echoes again. And to be fair, Chuchi's like, well, what about like your people?
Right.
And this was both cold and heartbreaking.
Yeah, horrible, man. Yeah.
Because Bertoni's like, anyone that I cared about was killed in those Camino attacks. Like, long and short. All of my people are gone.
Mm-hmm.
The Camamoans,
Mm-hmm.
I think, that are scattered throughout the known universe and galaxy and stuff that she's saying. She's like, those aren't my people. I don't know them.
Yeah.
Like that.
She's a very sociopath.
So like,
Very much so.
it's
Only
like
cares about the people around her and nobody outside of that circle.
Yeah. So it's like, it's heartbreaking that she has the loss, but at the same time, it's like, you cold, girl.
Yeah.
You cold.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's wild. It is absolutely wild.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy all the way to the top.
And but Omega's like, you know, like, I saw the Empire destroy Camino, and like, because Bertoni's like, why are you doing this? It's so futile, and you're barking up the wrong tree. You're never gonna get like what you want out of this.
Right.
And Chuchi's like, well, if you like talk or whatever, like, we can get something. And then like Bertoni
still sees the good in people.
Yeah, and Bertoni is like at Omega like, why are you here? Like, what does this matter? And she's like, Camino was my home. I saw, you know, the Empire destroy it too, and I'm mad, and I'm angry, and I want to, like, do something about it. And so then Bertoni, like, fesses up. She's like, I assumed an attack was imminent when I started noticing the funds and all of that stuff, like, diverting. She's like, Lama Su was arrogant, thinking that he was such a necessity, bringing the clone army to, like, the Empire and the Republic before that and everything.
Right.
And then it's like, my little note there is, no one is necessary to the Empire except the Emperor himself.
Exactly.
But
Darth Vader had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Everyone had to learn the hard way.
Everyone's learning the hard way. You know, the Emperor cares about nobody but himself.
Power.
Yeah. Again, power for himself.
Yep.
And so Bertoni is like, yes, I know Rampart diverted the funds. Chuchi's like, you've got to confess.
Right.
You've got to, please. Please.
Right, which is, like, again, like, shows she's a good senator.
Yeah. And still trying to fight the good fight, and still trying to fight
believing in the good,
you
in
know,
her.
but still also fighting for, like, the clones, like she said, to, like, get all of this figured out and done for them. And yeah, and Bertoni brings up the final thing.
Right.
Her word means nothing because they need the concrete proof, and you know, we're running out of time for both. And you know, she brings that up to him. Then we get the final cut back to the Bad Batch, and it's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
The getting into the Verninator, the Venerator ship, which is Rampart's ship, that he has the command log that has the video evidence of his own ship shooting down the facilities and destroying the cities of Camino. Bad Batch being en route, Wrecker's is cutting down hatches with the laser torch. Like, oh man, Rex and Echo are talking, and this is important, that Rex and Echo conversation, because Rex is, you know, explaining. He's like, yeah, you know, like, I'm trying to save as many clones as I can. You know, as many people who are out there. I've got some contacts that I can really trust, but you know, we just need more people.
Yeah, you know, Echo's been literally echoing that since the beginning of this series. He wants to fight for this cause. He believes
they need to fight.
Yeah. They need to fight, because if they don't, they're fighting for themselves. You know what I mean? Their own existence is on the line. Yeah. So.
And so it's like,
it's not even a fracture. It's just a difference in ways they have to fight.
Yeah, and then it's like,
from the Bad Batch crew to Echo.
When I heard Echo and Rex's talk, I was like, oh man, damn Echo, where are you needed? It's like what I was asking there, because he's like, I need people who can help, but I also need to be able to trust them. Is what Rex is saying about, like, trying to bring in people, context to help everyone.
And we've already learned Echo goes where he's needed.
Yeah.
So this is a
crossing,
great scene. I love Rex. I love when Rex shows up. He's just a
He's
cool
just
character.
a beacon of
great
hope.
Character that Filoni that created, basically. You know?
I love it so much. Crossing the shipyard though. When they're
Yeah.
crossing the shipyard and they get to the underbelly of the little thing, and Tech starts hacking it and takes control. When I don't know, the steering wheel just turns.
Yeah.
The droid. The look back to the
Like a
droid of
little
the
dog.
droid, just looking at it like, what
Yeah.
the hell just happened? It's so great. Then they, Tech takes control. They jump off basically once they get to the door that they need to
Yep.
actually enter the ship. Tech again hacks the ship or hacks the door. They get into the ship, and then this is when all out shootout happens.
Yeah.
Like the shootout at the OK Corral, but it's on the bridge. Tech also, or no, Echo also gets the thrusters going on the ship, so it starts moving it as
it's a funny scene.
as it's still being held on the braces. So you start seeing it slowly push.
And you think maybe they're gonna take off or something?
Yeah.
Or it's to go up in the air, but it just kind of
Yeah.
it crumbles on itself.
The brace just eventually crumbles off of the thrusting weight and stuff, and it.
Not a
it
bad
just,
batch is kind of running up.
Yeah, and that was great because once it crashes and they change direction of how they have to run and stuff and it's awesome. They it breaks off the stand. They run. But they get to the escape pods after their shootout and everything.
Which is funny. They didn't even plan on using that ship. They were planning on Tech was planning on getting to the escape pods the whole time.
Right, and that's how they were going to get out of it. I mean, once I should say, when they're in the bridge, they do get the command log. They're able to make a copy of it, and Tech is able to take it. And then during that, it's all that shootout, falling off the brace. It's so funny. But Tech gets into the escape pods, and he sort of flies it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and kind of just pops out.
The best thing about once they crash in the pod and stuff, Tech is it's not my best. I was off by 6.4 meters.
Right.
And it's bro, you just saved everybody. What are you talking about here, man?
Yeah.
After this, we see them just running back
they're running, and we
into
go
the
back to the
Senate.
Senate.
And we cut back to the Senate. The vote is going on. Rampart's talking. He's addressing all the senators. He's saying the clone provisions have been talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going through the basic stuff, and Chuchi says brings up the fact that the funds were redistributed and given to the funds to take out Camino, basically.
Yeah, and
they're arguing. The arguing ensues from there,
and it's awesome. I love the argument of it. We've got the Chuchi's we've got the senator from Camino here, and Rampart's a disgraced senator.
Yeah.
Who will speak the truth of the redistribution, the Camonan, the destroying of the facilities on Camino was purposefully done by your ship, and it's awesome. The rest of the senators are intrigued. People are murmuring.
Yeah, there's definitely more evidence now. This is corroborating evidence. I guess you're building a case, and she comes out, and she's not necessarily the most credible witness, which we've already kind of seen too. She's not somebody who's credible. I wouldn't trust her, but this information she's given, it happens to be true.
Right.
So that's what happens sometimes, and
then she just kind of starts having to kill time because she, as great as Senator Chuchi is, she's also very gung-ho and very excited about things.
Yeah, realizing now she has to filibuster a little bit because they don't have the evidence they're needing yet.
Yeah, they don't have...
The Bad Batch is still on their way with
They don't have the ace in the hole. Yeah. They don't have the ace in the hole yet.
They're waiting for it.
And so other senators are where are the funds?
Where's the evidence?
Yeah, where's the evidence? What do you have for this? And one senator, basically.
No, but really,
but the one senator wants to censor her and make her, not be able to talk and stuff anymore.
Yeah, so that's happening, and then finally,
Omega
shows up with the copy and gives it to Senator Organa.
And Organa. Which makes sense because now you have a second senator instead of having like waving Chuchi
right
out there
it's
to
not
try and
just-
have her.
It's not just Chuchi.
It's now another senator being like, "Well, I have this evidence as well," and we all know where Organa stands on everything. So like,
right, but he also knows how to play politics.
Right, and I mean that's why he lasted as long as he did.
Right,
as long as they did.
So he disrupts everyone and kind of gets at it, and they can't deny this evidence.
Yeah, Chuchi plays the log. The video shows, and we get this blaring alarm coming.
This part's awesome.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, what is happening?
And we see Blue Dude.
And we see the Blue Dude. And we see
this cool like Imperial the stage
podium.
Podium
stage. Yeah.
Comes up with the blue guy and the Emperor are on there. And man, they've really tightened up the animation style on the Emperor.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. And I don't know how, like, cause
because he's always got the hood up and stuff, so
his
like
hood had these details in it. It was so cool.
It was great. I really like the look of the Emperor. And like the Emperor just runs his hand. He lays down his royal flush because the Emperor had the ace in the hole.
Yeah.
And the ace in the hole was the Bad Batch and everybody working against Rampart.
Yeah.
And nobody knew it because that's what Palpatine does. He is the puppet master playing everybody.
Yeah, so he uses Rampart in this moment to just say, yes, he's the bad guy. Arrest this man. And takes the high ground. And is able to just silence Rampart quickly, even though Rampart, is kind of trying to say, I had orders. And it doesn't matter. The Senate at this moment is latched onto every word the Emperor is saying.
Right. And the other thing is that the Emperor is taking it as Rampart is. Oh God, I had what I wanted to say, and I lost it. Anyhow, we'll jump back in. But Rampart is like just screaming and yelling, like I was just following orders. Oh, but this is what I wanted to get at is what the Emperor then says about the clones is, well, these clones were mindlessly basically following Rampart. It shows that there is a deficiency basically in them. And now the most important thing for our galaxy, for our empire here, is this army, this bill.
Yeah.
This bill that is...
So Rampart's bill still goes through, which was Emperor's... That was his only design. He really just needed this bill to go through. He didn't care what happened to Rampart. He just needed...
No.
It was however it needed to go through. And this was the spark that was needed for that bill to go through, for sure.
Right? He's like, it'll be a new era heralded by the Imperial Stormtrooper.
Yep. So this is when the Clone Troopers end. This is the end of the Clone Troopers. Officially.
Yeah, it's officially over. The goodbyes are happening between Rex and the Bad Batch and, Chuchi and everybody. And Rex is like, Palpatine's always been several steps ahead of us in the Clone Wars.
It's annoying.
He was several steps ahead of us here. He just wanted the Senate approval, no matter what, for his Stormtrooper program, which will be interesting because now I wonder if the Stormtrooper program will be like a brainwashing of old clones and then slowly start bringing in new people for the Stormtroopers.
No, they're gonna get rid of the clones, man. Yeah, it was a definite statement at the end of that. They're deficient, basically.
Then was that clone as the assassin? Was that just one of Rampart's guys under his command?
The Emperor was using it, and then using Rampart to use this system. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll figure that out. But yeah, for sure, there's something else going on that's deeper, and I think we're gonna get more scenes with Rampart and Crosshair probably.
Yeah.
Because Crosshair is going to be interested in what all this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how bad this man is, and he's got a big redemption arc. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, this man's done a lot of bad stuff at this point that's hard to forgive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's going to be interested in this.
Absolutely. Chuchi agrees. She's not agrees, but she's like, affirms is the word I was looking for. And she's going to keep fighting for all the clones.
Yep.
The Rex, or Hunter tells Rex, if you ever need anything, just say the word whenever. And then the Bad Batch are saying goodbye to Echo. And it doesn't, like, Omega's confused during all the goodbyes.
Exactly.
Like, wherever you went, Hunter's the first one. Wherever you end up, you know what I said. Like, you're always welcome here, and like, come back and all that stuff. Wrecker, don't get in trouble without us. Is like it's just classic Wrecker.
Yeah.
And best of luck, and we get like Omega's like, don't get in trouble without us. What?
Mm-hmm.
Like, best of luck with what? What's going on here? And Echo's like, I'm going with Rex.
Yeah.
I can't turn my back on Rex.
Just very matter of fact with her, and has to tell her how he rips the band-aid off right here,
and she's like, you can't. We're squad.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, I'm going where I'm needed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, again, he said he was needed with the Bad Batch at the beginning. When he talks with Rex, he realizes that he is needed with Rex and the rest of the clones and everything there.
This is Hunter and his crew needing to go this way, and Rex and Echo and their crew to go that way, and they're both fighting the same fight though at the end of the day.
Right. And like,
but they just can't be together always. Mm-hmm. And it's a sad realization when Echo leaves, but the Bad Batch didn't start with Echo. Echo was added because of circumstances when Crosshair got.
Echo also does like the thing that he has done of still trying to take care of Omega and everything, of being like, you better keep up with your training.
Oh yeah, he cares.
And like they hug, yes sir, and keep an eye on him and
but
everything.
Echo knows he can leave without, and she won't.
Yeah.
She won't be left without help.
Yeah, she's not really by herself. She's not really alone. This will hurt.
She has a great family.
This does hurt, and it will be sad, but she will be okay. Mm-hmm. She is.
He trusts Hunter to.
She is left in very capable hands. Yeah. But yeah, like the Bad Batch flies away. Omega grabs her little stuffed animal and like kind of gives it a little hug, and I just love it. It's great.
Cute. Yeah, it was a good episode. That was a good end to these 2-episode arc too. Mm-hmm. But it does leave you questioning a lot, more, and that's great because now we understand this format that they're giving us. So now we can expect, next week's probably not going to be the most story heavy, but that's cool.
Yeah,
it'll probably be interesting, fun.
I'm super
it's
excited.
Definitely gonna be fun. I'm excited too.
I can't wait to see it all we're halfway through the season so far. Yeah. So that's very interesting. It also leads us to the fact that if we're halfway through it and Echo leaves, he could come back for the finale. Mm-hmm. We could see him again, just based on like storylines and like battles and all that stuff of what it leads. I'm really interested to see what we get the second half. What our second half
will we maybe get a Rex Echo episode? You know what I mean? Was that a way to open that door? Who knows?
Yeah. I'm super excited. I hope we get a little bit more Crosshairs. I would like to see it.
Yeah, of course. Bring me Crosshair.
I would love to see. I would love to see him now. When we come next
especially
week,
now that Rampart got arrested.
It makes a lot of sense.
And now
that
clones are out.
Yeah,
he's on his own now.
Yeah, and like, does he go back and try? Does he go back and try and find the Bad Batch?
Yeah, there's a lot more backlash for him right now than there is for them. Mm-hmm. They're already on the run. Mm-hmm. He's now newly going to be on the run.
Yeah.
And with who?
Running with the devil, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll hopefully see another Crosshair episode next. Crosshair fingers. Or not, whatever. I'm down. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But either way, we are wrapping up episode 7 and 8 of Bad Batch Season 2. We want to thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe to our channel and to this video. I'm Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
I'm Collin
with the Triple C Collective. We hope you all stay safe. Thank you for joining us, and may the Force be with you.